Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RunIowa podcast. I'm Rob Lindquist.
And I'm Dave Kading.
And this is episode 113 of the podcast. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I am doing fantastic. Sorry, I was messing with your headphones there. This episode of the podcast, we're going to finally do that review of Compete Crate that I got a couple weeks ago, and you can see the video online. We're going to talk to Eldon Warner, who is a current University of South Dakota track athlete and choir major, or singing major. We'll get some specifics with him. And, of course, our of the week. So stick with us on episode 113 of the RunIowa podcast. All right, Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
What's new with you?
Not much.
Not much.
Nope.
I will tell you that our little bourbon talk last episode had me very interested in that, in knowing more about your knowledge about that. So we'll have to get together sometime.
Absolutely.
With that being said, this episode I do want to review Compete Crate. We got some of their gear and we did an unboxing. You can find the video at runiowa.org in our video blog section.
Yep.
And I've been using the gear now for I think 3 weeks now. And so I wanted to give a quick review on that.
Sounds great.
Cool. So the first thing that there were three things that came in the Compete Crate box. And with this box, the company Compete Crate does do different variations of boxes. So it's not just running, but there is a running specific box. And it is more clothing and apparel that you would get from Compete Crate. So there's that for you. Again, you can find all the details at CompeteCrate.com. But what I got in my first in my first box was an ASICS performance shirt. Some New Balance water wicking socks, Super Performance, I believe they were called, and a New Balance 10-ounce water bottle, handheld water bottle. And I used them that day that I unboxed it. And if you remember, I don't expect anybody to remember, but I just went back and rewatched the video. I had my allergies were kicking up. Remember that when it was the first spring of the year? And then we've had 4 winters since.
Right.
But a little nasally in that video, but went out that day actually and ran with the gear. And the socks were a little big. And I get that because I told them my shoe size, and generally socks are, if you wear size 8 to 12, so you're going to have one size sock or whatever it is. The socks were a little big, but they were comfortable. They were very thick material that still had some compression around the midsection of your foot. So the arch in your the arch in your foot still had that compression there, but very comfortable and plushy at the same time, which was it was a weird feeling because I was not expecting that right away. And I don't know why I wasn't expecting it, but I wasn't. And then they did exactly as I thought they would. I wore my light running shoes, my road shoes. So my shoes that I wear are super light, and I was able to still be comfortable with those thicker socks. So that was kind of nice. I did enjoy those socks. Would I go out and buy a pair? I don't know. And maybe it's just because I guess I really haven't seen them out. Like if I see a set of running socks at a store, I'll go buy them. Sometimes, not all the time. But I really don't see those very often in the sporting goods stores that I go to. So something to keep an eye on, the New Balance socks. The ASICS high performance shirt that I wore, I would not have chosen the color. It's a very light gray, almost to the point of white.
Okay.
But
you like a little more style,
more
color.
Now, I will say with the style, if that's important, the style, there is like you have to really look at it, but you can see there's a design in the material, and it's kind of a raised up design. I don't know how to. Have you seen like the basketball jerseys that have the design on the back of the jersey when they zoom in on them for like college basketball and stuff? It's kind of like that. Like you have to really look to see it. From a distance, it just looks like a solid color. So it's a neat idea, neat concept. I was not a fan of the color I got though, and again, it's a subscription box, and so you'd probably get different color options and things like that. And mine just happened to be that light gray.
Right.
Again, go back to the video runiowa.org and check it out. But I would not have chosen it. As far as fit goes, the fit was fine. I have a little bit wider shoulders than normal. I'm not masculine or muscular. I rephrase that. I am masculine. I'm not necessarily muscular. But my shoulders are a little bit wider than normal.
Yeah, you're kind of that Arnold Schwarzenegger build.
Almost. I'm getting close. But so the
Without the accent.
the shoulders were a little tight up top, but the rest of the fit was very good. It's a good running shirt because of the lightweight and the water wicking and the performance material. But you can get that pretty much anywhere. And I think that's what the ASICS shirt is trying to show you is that, hey, we can do this too, because we know ASICS for their shoes. But this shirt does its job. Again, I don't wear it often, and I think that's more of a style thing than a comfort thing. Mm-hmm. When I go through my 3 drawers full of running clothes, I have a lot of options, and I think the color just threw me off.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. And then the handheld water bottle, the New Balance 10-ounce bottle, it is shaped to fit your hand as you're cupped running, and so it's got the thinner profile. I don't know how, it's not like a bean profile, but kind of like a flat bean profile with the handle. You put your hand through the sleeve. And so it was nice. And it does its job. It does exactly what you want. If you're going on longer runs and you know how much water you're getting, 1 mile, 1 ounce or whatever it might be, you're able to see that. Generally, the only water I bring, and if you remember from when I was doing my marathon training and all that stuff, I would just bring a 12-ounce water bottle, just a plastic, recycle that bottle when I'm done thing. And I would get through that however I'd get through it. And so I've never really had a water bottle until I started using my wife's when I was going like 20 miles at a time. And even then, I think that was 14 or 16 ounces. So it was a little bigger than this one. So this one's a little smaller, a little more comfortable to hold just because of the profile of the bottle, which is very cool. If you're looking to have something to carry with you, you don't have to grip it the whole time because it does have that band on it that goes around your hand. And so that's nice as well. Overall, I thought the package, I loved the idea of what I got. It would have been neat to try shorts or another month or, just to kind of do it. I did not subscribe to that box. But I could see where it's worth it. I could see where people, and we've talked about subscription boxes a lot lately with your golf one and with our food one that we got at our house. And now I just got on another clothing one. So I'm not opposed to subscription boxes. I didn't get everything I thought because of the color again. It's hard to do shirts. Would you agree it's hard to do shirts? Because most runners have a ton of race shirts. Right. And a lot of those are performance shirts. Yeah. And so if you're looking to try new stuff, absolutely, subscription boxes are a way to go. If you have something you like already, maybe not. So just think about it that way. And I do appreciate CompeteCrate.com for helping us out and allowing us to take a look at their stuff. And we do appreciate it. And I do wear the stuff. Don't get me wrong. I use it all the time. I just don't always choose the shirt first. So, and the socks are in my regular rotation. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. So the socks are in my regular rotation. They are, I don't really have a rotation. It's whatever ones I grab, but that's a good thing. Right. it's hey, they're in my pile of running socks.
Hey, I just went and logged on to, I didn't know I already subscribed to
do you?
Compete Crate. I don't get anything, but I have an account.
Okay.
And anyway, they have several listed crates, running, training, yoga, basketball, golf, and tennis. And they show what you get. Like the tennis one looks cool. Like, hey, yeah.
Oh, as a tennis coach? Yeah, absolutely.
But when you click on it, you only have 3 choices of which crates you can get.
Oh, really?
Running, yoga, and training. The golf, the yoga, the golf, the tennis, and whatever the other one, they don't
basketball.
Basketball, they don't show up as ones that you can get.
Gotcha.
Because I get a golf one, and I like it. And I would switch, just try a different company, but it doesn't let you subscribe to the golf one.
Huh.
Bad you, Compete Crate.
That's right. I do want to mention a couple things. They do have, it is $36 a month for the Compete Crate running box. Mm-hmm. So $36 a month. It gets you the 3 items with guaranteed combined retail value that exceeds that cost. The items can be personalized to you, again, by fit and that sort of thing. There is free exchange of any item. I didn't realize that. Yep. I guess I missed that part, so I could have exchanged that shirt color at least.
Right.
And then a money back guarantee as well, $5 shipping anywhere inside the U.S. So go to CompeteCrate.com, check that out. If you want to give it a shot, it's no length of time subscription either. You can do the 1 month and then stop.
Right.
So, and hopefully they get the golf and the tennis and the
Right.
basketball crate.
I hope so.
Cool. Okay, thank you again, CompeteCrate.com. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to former student of ours. Did you ever have him in class?
No, I had a sister.
I had a sister as well. I didn't have him in class, but he was in our building and great kid all around, great cross-country runner and track runner for our team here in Council Bluffs, and went on to run for University of South Dakota, where he is right now. And he's doing some wonderful things there. So we're going to talk a little bit about the transition from high school to college and what that's like for an athlete, for a runner, and talk to Eldon Warner, one of our kids here. So we'll be back right after this on episode 113 of the RunIowa podcast. And welcome back to the podcast. On the line now with us is Eldon Warner, a TJ graduate. Eldon, what year did you graduate? I should have asked earlier. I'm sorry.
I graduated in the spring of 2015.
2015. So you're getting old now. How's that going for you?
Well, I'm starting to feel old. My body's starting to give out on me, but I'm getting faster, but that's good.
That's good. Well, let's talk about that. I prefaced you with you were a high school athlete, track runner, cross-country runner. Tell us a little bit about your running history in general, and then we'll work your way up now to the present.
So I was never really a big fan of running when I was in middle school and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you still there? Oh, I think we lost you here. Hold on one second.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
All right, there we go. So all throughout middle school, I was, and I just kind of did it because my friends are doing it. But around my senior year of high school, I could actually do something with this. So I started doing training during the off season, try to get in shape. And I think my senior year is really when I started to sprout and become an actual runner.
Okay. And how did you know? I mean, other than maybe you were getting faster, but was it like a love for running at that point, or?
My senior year, I think cross country, I started to get a taste of that, but I don't think I really loved for running until I think it was the Waukee meet my senior year. We were trying to qualify the distance medley, and I had to come from behind and try to win the thing to qualify, and I did, and I felt that kind of rush during the 800, and that's when I kind of knew running's my thing, I guess.
So how did you then decide you wanted to go off to college and run?
I remember getting done with the race and Coach Mulick coming up to me, and before this I had been kind of on the fence about running in college. I wasn't too sure until Coach Mulick came up. He showed me my split. It said 154 in the 800, and he said, Eldon, I think you should reevaluate whether or not you should run in college or not. And
Sure.
That was kind of the turning point.
And okay, so what was that next process like for you? Did you have to search out people, or did they kind of come to you after they saw your splits? How did that work?
Really, I had to reach out to other people because it was only a split, so not a lot of people. And I think that was the fastest 800 I ran that year. My closest one was 155s at State and Drake and things like that. And so, although 155 is fairly fast, to be noticed, you have to run a little bit faster than that, especially with like Division I things and like that. So I was looking at smaller schools, Morningside, things like that. And then eventually I ended up singing during a vocal competition, and one of the professors here at USD noticed me and noticed that I didn't have a school yet. So he asked me to come up, and I mostly came up to USD for music purposes because I was thinking about going to UNI, but they weren't going to let me run there. And then I auditioned here at USD and talked to the coach, and he said all the slots were filled for the men's team because Title IX and things like that. We only have so many men's spots. But a guy ended up dropping out and not coming back the next year, so I ended up taking his place.
Nice. And I did mention also, is it a double major or not really a double major, but what is your focus there at USD?
I am primarily a voice student. I'm a music student, music performance, with a focus on voice. but I do track and cross country here as an athletic thing. So it's not a major; it's just kind of an extracurricular thing that I do here.
Gotcha.
But it takes a lot more precedence than just an extracurricular.
So that kind of leads me to your time commitment, and I would assume, and I'm not by any means a vocal expert in any way, shape, or form, but I would assume both of these things probably take a lot of your time. So how did you manage your time with your running and your vocal performing classes and general ed stuff?
So this year, my schedule kind of goes, almost every single day goes like, I wake up at 7, get my morning run in, anywhere ranging from 4 miles up to 6 miles usually. Mm-hmm. And then I have class all the way up till 3 o'clock. I have op rehearsal from 2 to 3. And then right after that, I go to track practice from about 3:30 to about 6:30, 7 o'clock every single day. And then I have about 4 or 5 hours before I go to bed to do homework, hang out with friends, and do stuff like that.
So the typical college life? No, not at all. But pretty busy day. So do you find yourself? I don't want to say tired because you're still pretty young. But is it like managing your fatigue? Is that anything you have to deal with?
Honestly, I've gotten so used to running so much and going back and forth, especially in high school. In high school, a lot of students, they're up early. If you have a 0 hour, like I had a 0 hour for show choir, and then I'm in class all the way up to 3, and then I have track practice, and then I go and work at Hy-Vee across the street after that. So honestly, it's about the same as high school, but I even have a little bit more free time. I have an hour here and an hour there to go eat lunch or go do this and that. So it's fatiguing. The work here is a lot harder than in high school. I'm expected to do a lot more, especially when it comes to running. But you eventually get used to it. You have to eat right. You have to do all these things. Make sure you have the right energy. Make sure you get breakfast. That's the biggest thing, is if I don't eat breakfast the whole rest of the day, I'm just dragging.
So we have a range of listeners. We have parents out there. We have students, both student athletes and just high school and college level athletes that listen to our podcast, and our audience is all over the place. If you could give some advice for a student that is potentially thinking about going to run for college level or something along those lines, what advice would you give to them?
There's a couple things I would tell them. First thing, if you're on the fence about doing it, just give it a try. You might fall in love with it. I loved running in high school, but as soon as I got to college, I kind of went through and getting into the grind. I love it. It's something that at 7 a.m. Most people would say, we wake up at 7, you have college classes at like 9. Why do you wake up so early? I just love doing it. And make sure to do your work. I know in college, a lot of people like to have a little too much fun on the weekends. And as much fun as that is, going out, you can still have fun and have your college life. Like I still have my college life. I hang out with friends on the weekends and do stuff like that. But make sure to put the work in. College athletics is something that only a few people get to experience. So if you're going to experience, might as well make it the best you can make it. So make sure to get the work in, work hard, do the best you can.
How would you describe your running this year? I've seen you through Facebook and stuff like that. You've been posting a few PRs, but how would you describe your year so far with running?
This year with running has been a completely different story than any other year. Last year, I had a good year running. I trained a lot over the summer for cross country, getting a lot of miles in. But this past summer, I put in real hard work, more mileage than I'd ever seen. I ended up breaking our school record for summer mileage over the summer, and it really paid off. I've faced almost no injuries just because I'm constantly doing the high mileage, and so that makes my body ready to take whatever I'm going on. And this past indoor season, so our conference meet is over 2 days for the indoor conference meet. My coach had put me in 4 races. He put me in the 800, the mile, the 3K, and the 5K. And the 800 has a prelim, so I had to race 5 times in total.
Holy cow.
And I think the only reason why I was able to go out, and I got 3rd in the 5K, 2nd in the 1500, 2nd in the 3K, and first in the 800. And the only reason why I was able to do that is because of so much training that I did over the summer. And I've not missed a day of running since, I think, October.
Oh, nice.
And so just the constant work and constant like drive. And if I skip a day of running, I noticed the last time in October when I skipped a day of running, I felt like crap. I just, my body was lethargic, and you start to get kind of acclimated to running every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And this year of running, since I've put so much hard work in, I've noticed leaps and bounds faster than last year. Last year I thought was the best year I was going to have. I ended the outdoor season. I ended up getting third in the 1500, and I was faster than I had ever been before by leaps and bounds. Like compared to high school, I think I was almost 20 seconds faster.
Oh, wow.
And so I came into this season outdoor thinking, all right, I'm going to try to shoot for that time, but if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out.
Sure.
And here at the Texas Relays this 2 weeks ago, I ended up running 2 seconds faster than I'd ever run just coming straight into the season.
Oh, wow.
So just the start, I'm already ahead of where I was last year. So it's this year's, hopefully, just like indoor, hopefully my outdoor is just as impressive. And this upcoming weekend, we're going up to Mount Sac Relays. I qualified for the 1500, 800, and the 5K, but I don't know if I'll be running all of those on the same day because that's all on the Friday, and I don't think I'll be doing that. But it's going to be a great race, running against a lot of Big 12, Big 10, and I think some Ivy League schools are going to be there, but who knows? So it'll be a fun time.
Well, first of all, good luck on that upcoming race. I mean, and not that you need it though, based on the running you've been doing, but you never know. I want to ask you a little bit about your cross training, if you don't mind. You do a lot of running. Do you do other things as well to kind of stay in shape?
Usually not. Usually I just I usually just run, but I know whenever we have runners who can't quite get to the high mileage, but they still need to get that aerobic ability. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of swimming, aqua jogging, biking, things like that. Me, not so much. Since I'm so light, I don't. I'm only about 115 pounds, 5'6", kind of a smaller guy. So running that high mileage, it's not constant pounding on my knees and stuff like that. So I'm able to do that high mileage without getting too injured. So my cross training isn't so much. Probably in a few more years, if I plan on continue running, I'm going to have to do more cross training to keep my aerobic capacity up. But for now, I'm pretty just straightforward running all the time.
So you just kind of mentioned your aerobic ability there, and I would assume that singing probably has a lot to do with that as well. You've trained your lungs to both for running and for singing. Do you think that is a complementary idea, or?
Yes, definitely. I know at the beginning of the semester, I was singing a kind of an Italian art song by Donaudi, and it's known for having long phrases. And my professor commented, she said, "Wow, you sing those long phrases very well. You're very supported throughout. Your diaphragm is very, very trained." And I can't help but to think, running's probably a big part of that because I'm able to carry blood so well through my system.
It came to mind, and I'm thinking, I'm full of hot air, but I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, last question for you. We're coming up on our time here. That's a lie. I have like 2 more. But where do you see yourself in the future with running, aspects of running? What do you think you're going to do after college?
I think once I get out of college, I think I'm just going to continue running. Me and my friends have plans to just keep running all throughout our. We're going to be here for an extra semester or two to finish up our bachelor's degrees or finish up they're going to be starting their master's degrees. Mm-hmm. But we're planning on staying in Vermilion, training real hard, high mileage kind of stuff. And we're going to try to run some more miles, but we're thinking about doing half marathons, and things like that.
Okay. Well, good luck on those as well. They're always fun. Making that next step, after, do you think you'll be competitive in that next step? Like, I mean, are you going to train for eliteness level or?
I mean, if it comes to us, then yeah. But I think it's going to be our kind of time to just go back and just enjoy running.
Sure.
If we can run those elite times, then so be it. But it's mostly just going to be for fun. And I know a lot of elite runners, they come from college and I'm just going to run for fun now. And just because they're not running to compete so much, they run a lot faster. So if that ends up happening, then that sounds like a great idea to me.
And our last question, it's a kind of a standard question that we ask here on the podcast. What is your best or favorite running memory?
Ooh, wow. There's a lot of them. Let's see here. I'd have to say one of the top memories, this might be just because it's fresh in my head and it just happened fairly recently, was this past indoor season. The 5K is the second last event in the conference meet right before the 4x4. And I remember the whole team surrounding the 200-meter vomit green bison track up there. And just you see red all over. And they're just cheering us on. And we have two coaches on our team that were past Olympians. We have Derek Miles, who just received his bronze medal this last year.
Oh, nice.
From the 2012 Olympics. And then we also have A.G. Kruger, who's competed with the America uniform 3 times during the Olympics. And I remember going around the first 50 meters, and I just see Derek and A.G. yelling at me saying, "This is your race. You got this. You're better than anyone out on that field." And that was probably one of the most heartwarming things. I have 2 Olympians, 2 people that were the best of the best and still are the best of the best, cheering me on this small 200-meter track, running a 5K. It's my 5th race of the weekend, and I'm just dog tired. And if they believe in me, I think that was one of the main reasons why I performed so well that weekend.
That truly is an awesome story, and just to think the support that you have there at the school and throughout your running career is truly awesome. So congratulations. We thank you for being on the podcast. If people wanted to get a hold of you on social media, could they, and how do they do so?
Oh, yeah. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I believe my Instagram, if you still remember Aaron de Santiago, my old high school friend.
Oh, yeah.
I think my name is still not _Aaron _ de Santiago. We still keep in touch, and we're still close friends. And then I think my Twitter is just Eldon _Warner, and if you want to follow me, I guess you can go ahead and do that.
Cool. And for the listeners out there, I'll make sure when the episode goes out, you'll see Eldon's Twitter on there as well. So, Eldon, we appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir.
Yep, no problem. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. And welcome back to the RunIowa podcast. Thanks to Eldon for being on our show with us and helping us out with that. And obviously, good information.
Right, cool.
So if you got a student athlete, or you are a student athlete getting ready to make the transition to the next level, good information there from him. So with that, we're going to kind of change things up. I know I said in our intro we're going to do of the weeks, but I wanted to bring in a new segment. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay, we're going to try something new. It's something I learned about running that I didn't know. And I'm a huge proponent of, I have a couple conferences coming up this next couple of weeks in education. But I love the idea that what I know isn't necessarily what you know, isn't necessarily what I know.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I think I know a lot about a certain topic. I don't think everybody else needs to know that, but it turns out you might.
Right.
So what we've learned, something unique or something new we've learned about running that maybe you already don't, maybe you don't know. And so hopefully we'll come up with a catchy name or something. It's not going to be what I think I know, you think I know, I think I know, you think I know. It's not going to be that.
Gotcha. That sounds like a conversation you have with your wife.
Usually that's probably pretty close.
And she knows what you don't know, and if she doesn't know, she'll tell you don't know anyway.
And on top of that, she's always right. Weirdest thing.
Yeah.
It's the strangest thing.
It is.
With that being said, we're going to go a little off the beaten path here. First of all, happy 5th spring, it turns out to be.
Yes.
With that being said, you might have seen recently signed up for a triathlon, my first triathlon. I finally bit the bullet and just did it. And so I'll be doing that in July. So you'll probably be hearing some triathlon training stuff here. But the one thing I did not know, and it has to do with swimming, and I'm not a big swimmer. In fact, I don't know that okay, quick swimming story. The last time I competitively swam was also the only time I competitively swam. My college friends and I and wives all went to Okoboji, and we were all having a great time. We had a couple cabins or whatever up there.
Skinny dipping. No competitive swimming.
Trust me, no, it wasn't. But we were all up there, and one of the friends had a boat, and we were all on the boat and whatever. Well, one of the friends' wives, who we all know, my friends, we all know, obviously, she was a competitive swimmer for Iowa State University. She was from Germany. She got recruited and came over and swam for Iowa State. And so, of course, after a few adult beverages, we all thought, hey, let's swim to that buoy and back. My only competitive race. I was dead last out of, I think, 14 people that swam by a lot, not even close.
At least you made it.
And I almost didn't make it. I swallowed so much lake water.
She swam out there and had to pull you.
No, I did make it back to the boat on my own, under my own power. But I got back to the boat, got into the boat, and then we started driving off. Well, after all that lake water and the few adult beverages that I had, my stomach was not sitting well, and you can guess how that ended. Yeah. That was my only competitive swimming.
Can't wait till you share that story with Calvin.
Yes, he's going to love it. So with that, my thing I learned, I've been doing a lot of research on swimming because I have not even been to the pool yet. I've just signed up. Like, that's how much, how new I am, but I like to do research sometimes. So I did a bunch of research on swimming techniques, and especially open water swimming. And one of those techniques is don't swallow the water. Oh, no, that's not new. Is the way that your hands pull through the water.
Right.
Now, I know how to freestyle swim. I know how to swim in general. I can back float. I can backstroke. I'm not a competitive swimmer. But I would not be dead in the water, pardon the quote, if I were stranded. You know what I mean?
Cool.
I wouldn't sink. So what I learned was, while freestyle swimming, once you get your arms in and you're doing that thing,
right, when
you're pulling through, the actual part of the stroke that gets you the momentum and gets you moving isn't getting your hand in the water and pushing back. It's when your hand is in the water, you bring your elbow to a 90-degree angle, and then you apply the most force. So what that's going to do, because I've always been of, I don't know, just kind of go, right? And then when my arm hits the water and I'm pulling through, it's a big motion to get that water going behind me. Well, you put your arms in straight, and all you swimmers out there are laughing at me because I'm trying to explain something you know very simply. But you get that arm in the water straight over your head or in front of your face, and then you bring your arm to a 90-degree angle, and once it's at that, perpendicular to your body, then you push the force through, and that's going to give you the most bang for your buck because it's creating the most surface area on your arm. Whereas if you're leading with your elbow, just going through in a big circular motion, that's cutting down on the surface area that's actually hitting the water. So that's something I learned, is I had no idea. Now I need to practice that. I haven't obviously been in the pool yet, but I will soon. But so when your hand goes in, you bring your arm to a 90-degree angle, or your elbow to a 90-degree angle, and then once it's perpendicular, that's when you push with the most force. And so training your body to do that is especially beneficial when freestyle swimming and open water swimming as well, and how you get that most bang for your buck. So you're not exerting as much energy with the arm motions to force you to miss your breaths.
Right.
So, okay, that's what I learned.
That's amazing.
And
I feel like I should go for a swim this afternoon.
Right. So all of you triathletes or swimmers out there, if you want to hit me up on Twitter.
Tell him how stupid he really is.
What are you doing? And remember, I'm no expert. I'm the absolute beginner on swimming. I don't, even with my kids, I don't swim. I stand there with them, you know, that sort of thing. So the last time I competitively swam, I threw up. So
well, that's awesome. How far is your swim going to be? 800 meters?
500.
500 meters? Yep. Do you think you can like dolphin kick the whole time?
Underwater? I've not put it past myself to backstroke the whole thing if I need to. My wife told me about that. She learned how to do the side swim thing, and so she's like, "That's a good way to do it too."
Keep your head above water the entire time.
Yep, I'm okay with that.
Save your energy for the run.
She does make fun of me though, because of my swimming and inability of swimming. I bring my head up every time, like when I have swam, and she's like, "No, it's like every other," and And I've done research. And I'm like, I just want to breathe. Like, it's important to me to breathe.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, all right. Let's. That's our thing we learned. Right. New segment. We'll think of a new name for it. Yeah. But something new we learned about running, and in this case, swimming.
That's crazy.
This is the weirdest thing. Yes. Okay, that was a good shot. I liked it though. Right. It's something new.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap things up right after this. All right. Any last thoughts, Dave?
Yeah, I'm still trying to get the picture of you swimming and drinking water.
I drink
in
so
Okoboji,
much lake water.
Out of my head.
Because I wasn't good at the breathing thing. That was
Right.
I would start my breath too early and get water in there, which would force me to spit it out.
Yeah.
And then so as I was coming back through, I'd get more water and
That's I'm
imagine
sure more
the-
drunkards drown in Okoboji than
and it's sad. I apologize if that's a sad story for you, but man, that was something.
I don't even know how a group of drunk friends swimming to the buoy and back. I don't even know if that qualifies as competitive swimming.
The reason it's competitive, we had a D1 athlete that smoked us all. She was to the buoy and back before most of us made it to the buoy.
That's like stealing people's money.
Right, exactly. And of course, the one person who didn't do it, there were two people that didn't do the race. It was the guy driving the boat
Yep.
and her husband.
Right.
Yeah, because he knew there's no
Right.
shot in hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, that's it for this episode of 113. Remember to check out everything online at runiowa.org. You can find episode information as well as our video blog that we did our Compete Crate unboxing on, and other unboxings, as well as our social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is new. We're trying to get that going again.
Absolutely.
And so check all of that stuff out at runiowa.org and on those channels at RunIowa. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
And happy trails.
Happy trails.